Hello everyone, it's Isaac, and we're going to be finishing up building this Lego Bugatti that we were building last week. Now, for those of you not in the know, this was a 20,000 subscriber goal. We reached 20,000 subscribers a couple weeks ago, and then we lost a whole bunch of people. I am very sad about that, but it is what it is. It happens. Um, it's a little bit of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Of course, I say that, but I really don't like saying it because it doesn't feel exactly true. And I don't like really lying to people. I don't so especially when I was actually looking at Twitter earlier today. And for those of you not in the know, like I'm a big V Sojo fan. I like Zentrea, I like Fruit, I like Silver Veil, all of that, okay? And I followed them on Twitter. And apparently, Zen has been having some issues with one of her videos where uh, they basically said, "Oh, it was a mistake," and they remonetized it and then demonetized it again a couple days later. Now, I know I've ranted and ranted about YouTube before, but it really is getting a problem where YouTube is just borderline unusable, really. It really has gotten to that point where you're having issues with discoverability, you're having issues with monetization and copyright that are just ridiculous. It's honestly a point that if I was a CEO, I would be super duper pissed. Like, it should be an embarrassment for a multi billion-dollar company that these are still issues with my business, right? And this interferes with YouTube's business a big time because every person you tick off, every person, especially Zen, who is a pretty big name, especially in the streamer sphere and all this stuff. Like everybody knows who Zentrea is, right? If you don't know who the V Sojo Dragon Lady is, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but you should probably check her out. Uh it's just it gets to the point though that there should be no issues like that in a multi-billion-dollar corporation. There shouldn't be this kind of problems. This is the kind of stuff that you have with like growing pains when you're just starting out, right? This is issues that your company should have when you're just getting going. You're new to being a social media platform. You're new to the game, basically. YouTube has been in the game for what, the better part of 2 decades now, right? And they're still going through these sort of like growing pains where they're having this abysmal rate of taking care of people that they're supposed to be working with. And again, this is a person that has a pretty darn popular following. This ought to be a massive embarrassment for the company and for the business to have such a very large channel having this kind of issue. Even if even though I would say that you shouldn't have this kind of issue with any size channel, there shouldn't be any kind of channel that's going to experience this sort of problem. But with YouTube, you're talking about channels being deleted for quote-unquote terms of service issues or terms of service violations that they will not at all try to go over with you or explain to you, because and the people that have tried, they get the response of like, well, if we told you how you violated terms of service, then you would avoid it. No, sir. You, you don't say. You don't say that if we know the rules, we'll follow them. How hard? Like, did you? I'm sorry. Were you on the short bus as a kid? And I'm saying this as someone who is on the autistic spectrum, right? This is a point where I'm sitting here going like, "Are you one of my people?" But it's also the point of this is just ridiculous. You shouldn't have this kind of problem at all. And thing is like YouTube has just been having issues similar to this whole time. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of it. We're talking about, in some cases, for example, there was an ASMR channel that their content was being stolen by a pirate who was basically just copying their content and adjusting the pitch and reposting it on YouTube. Now, the original creator notified YouTube of this happening. YouTube should have very well known that this was a problem. Get this. The original creator gets a copyright strike from the pirate. The person stealing their content, and YouTube, in a stroke of quote-unquote brilliance, states, oh, well, we're not an arbitrator of copyright, except, one, that's total malarkey. You arbitrate copyright all the time, every single day, but okay. Nice try, nice attempt at deflecting responsibility there. And it's not so much arbitrating content rights when you have a report showing that the person that's trying to claim this content is a known reported content thief. It should not be that hard to do the basic thought process of, we know this person is a content thief. The original content creator has contacted us, shown us all the proper paperwork, showed us all the stuff we need to know. This other person is now trying to claim their content as their own when we full well know that that's not the case. And we are allowing this thief to make this claim anyway. Where we are then participating in the active theft of this person's content. What the WH? As I believe many content creators would say, make it make sense. And they don't. They don't. And the thing is that the problem here, though, is YouTube is just going to keep losing. honestly, they're just going to keep losing market share. If you're constantly having this kind of issue where your customers, your users, and everything are constantly having issues to this degree, to this just clown shoes level, what the hell degree, because that's literally what this is at a point, is literally clown shoes level. This shouldn't be a problem, but it is. I have to. What? I'm a confused person. So yeah, this it's supposed. Okay. You know, so it's not. It really isn't hard or unreasonable for content creators to be mad at YouTube, like absolutely angry, ticked off all the time. It really isn't. And I understand that people are like, "Oh, why won't? Well, these people should just get real jobs and blah blah blah." It's like I get that to some extent, but at the same time, it kind of ignores the reality that YouTube is and doing content creation and stuff like that is a business. It's a legitimate business, okay? And here's the thing: content creation, legitimately, is in all truth no different from an independent studio creating content or creating a show for a network, okay? It's literally the exact same business model. Exact same business model. The independent studio takes up the cost of production, they hire all the talent, they come up with the storyline, they do all the work, and then they pitch or sell this they then give it to the network to distribute. And as the show grows and becomes more popular, the network then sells ad space on the show to advertisers. These advertisers and this money gets shared between both the studio and the network, which is how the whole partner program on YouTube works. Basically, exact same principle. Content creators are independent studios creating independent content for YouTube as the quote unquote network. YouTube then distributes and provides these various showrunners, i.e., content creators themselves, the opportunity to produce these shows and make money from it. Now, what this means is that yes, owning a YouTube channel, operating a YouTube channel, is very much the same thing as running your own private studio. It pretty much puts in all the same work. Okay? A lot of these YouTubers, especially things like JonTron and like, they actually have to write up scripts of what they're going to say, what they're going to do. And especially with like Mr. Beast, there's a lot of money that goes into the making of this content. So it becomes only natural, in all truth, that these content creators who are doing all this, who are making all this content, now I know, but you can't get it, you know. Like, meow. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Basically, these content creators wanting to be compensated for the expense and expenditure of creating this content. Especially if they're popular enough to make some significant or sufficient money off the program. Now, obviously, the network gets out of it is that they're able to, by use of this same system, they're able to basically get their own bit of cash from the content being created. Basically, it provides them with a show that people want to watch, so people will show up at the network, which then gives the network more ability to market themselves to even more advertisers. Now, something that the studios and the networks will normally do that YouTube doesn't, even though they actually really should, is it would actually provide quite a bit of more financial support for them in general, is that these same studios will then, alongside the network, create marketable merchandise. Sorry, for my brain is farting right now. I'm slightly just livid at the moment. My bad. Sorry, if there's one thing I do not like, especially as somebody who's been raised in business and all that, is people just being dumb. Especially if that dumb is just destroying a whole lot of other people around them. Right? Because that's literally what this is essentially doing. Is you have people who should be trying to make money and working with their partners to make this money, but instead they want to basically try and shoot themselves in the foot, pretty much. And even more hilariously, they get mad when you tell them about it. It's like you're literally costing yourself money here. And one of the things that I was talking about is the merchandise I did, right? Because as it sits, mass majority of YouTubers are producing their own merchandise. Whether it's through Teespring, through various other sites, stuff like that. Now, what YouTube should be doing, right, is instead of having content creators having to rely on third parties to produce this merchandise, they should actually be stepping in themselves to actually say, hey, you have so many subscribers, you have so many people, if you give us the designs, we'll make the t-shirts for you. We'll do all this. You could have, because Google owns their own manufacturing wing, right? Google already is making the Google Pixel. They're already making Google Chromebooks and various different computers. And you could even tie that into already existing Google products. For example, having PewDiePie Google MacBooks, Google Chromebook theme, or having or maybe you're not into PewDiePie, you could have a Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. In fact, you could even sit there and help them make other products. Like Top of the Morning Coffee, all these other things that would help a lot. And by doing so, not only do you build loyalty with the content creators themselves, it's actually really great PR as well. Because you're able to sit there and go, hey, look at all these things that we do for our content creators and all that who work with us, who have done all this stuff for us. You know, we're super awesome. Look at all the cool stuff you can get, and look at all the stuff we can do for you. You're popular enough, you know. But they don't want to do that. Now, you could argue, well, but they wanna work with Disney and stuff. But here's the thing, all right? These other media companies are essentially, for all intents and purposes, they're practically competitors. Even if they do pay, for example, even if they do buy ads on YouTube, for all intents and purposes, they are competitors. That's actually one of their main complaints recently, especially, is that content creators are not only taking away a lot of their own audiences because content creators are being more honest about their reviews in terms of how the product looks, that kind of stuff. Now, arguably, I would say, you know, hey, just make better product. That's just my thought process. Like, make better product instead of trying to blind grandma because she's like, your product sucks. You know, make something better. And calling her all kinds of ist and phobes and buzzwords. Just make better stuff. If YouTubers are eating your lunch and they have the approximate budget of a couple $100 compared to your several millions, that's more of a black mark on your ability to produce content than them just being awful, horrible people. You, the multi-billion-dollar studio with a crapload of money, should be able to produce a lot better content than what you are. And YouTube, honestly, in all truth, like I was saying, YouTube should be more intent on defending their own content creators. And they'd have even more reason to do so. Because if they did what I was talking about, not only would they be making money from those creators in that sense, because then it would allow them independence, which is something that you should want for your business anyway. You should want your company to be as independent from others as possible. You do not want an over-reliance on one source of income. And that seems to be a big problem for YouTube, is their over-reliance on advertising and YouTube Premium. The problem is, the advertisers are kind of pulling back because really their ads aren't doing as well as they'd like. To the point that YouTube is literally trying to fight ad blockers, which is only making them stronger. Congratulations. If you're going to rely on things like YouTube Premium and stuff, you should, at the very least, make it worth people's time, right? Like when it first launched, you had YouTube Red, you had this exclusive YouTube streaming service where you had exclusive content from the top creators and all this stuff. You don't anymore. Now, practically the only thing that YouTube Red offers is, hey, look, you can watch YouTube ad free. Like, okay, but why would I pay $20 a month just to have ad free YouTube? You know? It's a fairly reasonable question that customers have a right to ask. It's like, why would I spend this for the sake of, oh, it's just ad free? Okay, and like, if you're gonna charge people $20 a month, it has to be worth their time. Okay, that's the number one rule of just about anything. If you want to charge money for something, you have to make it worth people's money to buy in the first place. Because if it's not, they're just not gonna buy it. Now, thankfully, there are some alternatives like Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, to name a few. And while they're not yet as big as YouTube, they're gonna eventually get to that point. Look at that, very nice. I know, but not while Daddy's building Legos, baby. Ow. My spot! And of course, I think the number one thing that a lot of companies like YouTube and Google fail to realize is they think, oh, we're a monopoly. We have all this. Is like, one, you're not really a monopoly. Sorry, there are other platforms. Two, to assume that you're untouchable is the greatest weakness that you could have. To be untouchable doesn't exist. There's no such thing as untouchable. First and foremost. Let's make that very clear. To presume that you're untouchable and then proceed to do nothing but cause problems for customers, users, partners, you name it, all you're doing is you're building inroads for your competitors to scoop up your talent. And once they do that, once that happens, you're done. Okay? You do not want your competitors to be able to scoop up what little talent that you have because you successfully picked them all off and made it to where they don't want anything to do with you. You need talent, you need people to make content for the platform. If they're not making content for your platform, they'll make content for another platform. I heard something clack down here. See any missing pieces? There's none that's not missing because for some reason certain bits of my particular version of this isn't quite like it's supposed to, but eh. But it's literally a matter of every person you lose, every bit of talent you lose, every bit of talent you've managed to alienate and anger and aggravate and cause problems for. And you really did not want your competition to be able to just yank up talent because you decided you were better off making all your talent that is hell. And that's really what's going to happen. Every creator that you lose to somebody like BitChute or Odyssey or Rumble because you decide to play silly little censorship games, because let's be honest, YouTube has more censorship in terms of what you can say on the platform, so on and so forth, than even daytime television. When you can say things on daytime television and show stuff on daytime television than you can show on YouTube, there's a slight bit of a problem there. Okay? Especially since one of the things that made YouTube so popular was literally the point that you could get entertainment on YouTube that you weren't going to get on TV. That was one of the main draws of it. To start with, was that YouTube was content that you weren't going to get on television. It was honest reviews of products that you wouldn't receive on daytime television because the daytime TV critics and the like were usually bought up by the studios. It's what made so many people drawn to YouTube in the first place. And if you can't do that on YouTube, you're going to find that people will do it on other platforms. And they'll make the money that you lost. Because all the talent that they lose, that's more and more of the market share that they're going to end up losing. Because they thought they were untouchable. Because they thought that no other company could compete with them. Until all of a sudden, wait, where are all of our talent? Why are we losing so much money? Where is everybody gone? And they're all on better, more kind, more gentle, more respectful platforms that are run better and operate more honestly. Because YouTube has just straight up earned themselves a reputation for not being honest, for literally just straight up all kinds of problems. Like, they'll delete your channel for quote unquote terms of service violations, like I said before, but they won't tell you what you violated. they, they'll, they, Or if you talk about them too much, they're like, harassment. And it's like, you've been spending a lot of time going after my channel. I'd call that harassment. Anywho, enough of my whining. Voila! One complete Bugatti. Probably not the best built, but hey, there you go. Rolls pretty nice, has some pretty cool features. The tires, of course, do all the same stuff as the Lamborghini did. These go up and down. The doors do open. It has some nice stickers and features inside. If you want to see the rest of me building this, earlier on, we have some of the live stream stuff where I did most of that. This is actually a fun little Lambo to build, or not Lambo, sorry, Bugatti to build, honestly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please, again, excuse my ranting and just belligerence against this nonsense. But I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching again, and stay safe, my friends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.